Hello everyone. So in this video I'm gonna show you guys how to replace a non-functioning shower faucet. Right over here is a Moen branded shower faucet, and last week I found that it's really hard to actually turn the shower head on or turn the water on, and then try when the water was on. It's also extremely difficult to turn the water off. So I was doing some research and I find out it's actually the cartridge inside that actually went bad. So I think what I'm gonna do to fix it is actually just replace this cartridge unit. Those cartridge units are brand specific. So as you can see, I already removed the handle because I was investigating. And this one needs a Moen 1222 cartridge. I think it's their Posy Temp single handle tub shower replacement cartridge. I bought this just at my local hardware store for I think $46. They also have a aftermarket version available for like $10 cheaper. But I think I would much prefer the original replacement, so the unit could last longer between services. Eventually those things break and eventually you're gonna need replacement. Okay, so for mine, with the handle removed, the handle is secured by a single screw over here on the bottom. I'm just showing you like this because originally the handle is installed like that. You have to go down under to get the screw out. Once you get the screw out, for my unit, it is kind of structured like this, with this two plastic piece on the outside secured onto this little metal piece over here. So once you simply remove those, you can remove the metal piece. And once you have all those pieces off, the next step is actually unscrew this little screw over here, remove the cover, and then remove the clip that's holding the cartridge over there to get the old cartridge out so we can get the new cartridge in. And before you do all those, make sure you turn off the water main in your house so you're not gonna have a water issue spitting out once you pull off the cartridge over here. Okay, so make sure your water main is off before you do this. Okay, before servicing, it's important to turn off your water main. So over here I'm at my service port, and there are two knobs, and I just tried each knob and see which one was my main knob, and which I found out is this one. So I turned it, I think I turned it clockwise. So I'm gonna go into my room and test to see if my water main is turned off. All right, let's test to see if the water's off, which is off. So we're good to go. Next step, we're gonna go upstairs and start replacing the cartridge. All right, so I just zoomed in a little bit so you guys can see a little closer. So to remove those two screws very easily. And as you notice, on the edge, it's secured by some silicone sealant. And at the very end, when you're finished with everything, when you're finished with installation, you need to resurface the area around here and then reapply the sealant so the water doesn't go into your wall, which would be really bad. Okay, so it's fairly long screw for my unit. If by any chance your clip over here, you can access it without removing this, then it's better you just leave it here. You don't have to worry about removing the plate, but mine is actually deep under, so I have to actually remove the plate in order to reach this little clip over here, because over here I can't do it. So let's see. And because this is sealed really well, I'm gonna have to go find some sort of knife to actually just break the, maybe I'll just use this. I'm just using my flathead to kind of get all the caulking off, and then I can remove this plate. And now it's off. So there is another sealant over here. Ideally, I would have to replace this, but since I don't have a replacement, I'm just gonna leave it over here. So over here, as you can see, the exposed part. So one tube is cold water, one tube is hot water, and we don't have to touch those for today. So today the only thing we're doing is replace the cartridge inside. Okay, leave everything intact, because this is actually the area that actually broke. The little thing in the center doesn't rotate freely. That's when you know it's time to replace cartridge. So it's like that. I can feel it's kind of sticky. They have some sort of like gel actually applied to the whole unit. Maybe it's a lubricant. And same with this thing. Take a look at the manual really quick and see what exactly needs to be done. Let's see. So a couple of steps. Actually very detailed steps over here, so I probably don't even need to show you guys how to remove everything, because so first, you know, you get your handle out, and then you get the little plastic piece out, then the metal piece out, remove the clip over here, and it's 3 different kinds of the handles, so it gives you 3 scenarios on how you properly remove the handle. And then the cartridge remover is right over here. So once you have that clip off, you use the little included tool, plastic tool over here, the little white one over here, and I think you just rotate it and it should pop off. Okay, so first thing first, I'm going to remove this little clip, and most importantly, I don't want to lose this clip. Over here, save it aside, and again, as they suggested, next step, turn it clockwise 45 degrees with a little plastic piece, and then this thing should pop out and you should be able to remove the cartridge really quickly. So let's do that. And here is, where's my little tool? My tool is already over here. Okay, again, plastic piece, and you just push it in here and then you rotate clockwise 45 degrees, okay? Oh, so if you don't turn it off, if you don't turn your water main off, water is going to come out either from there or from here, and that will be no good. So make sure your water is off, okay guys, very important. Now we can actually just pull this piece out gently. You have to be careful because the rest of the parts are all like copper, which is kind of soft material. So let's see. Let's see if I can just wiggle it out. Like so, the cartridge is out. Phew, the old one kind of looks worn, and we're gonna have the new one installed in no time, okay? So go back to the manual and taking a look of the installation. It's basically apply the lubricant, which is the little package over here. You need to make sure it's really lubricated, because as you can see, it's really hard for me to take it out because the lubricant is probably already all dried out. So next step is do not rotate, so you have to put it in straight with the HC sign pointing up. And once it's in, you actually just put the little clip over here. So I guess we just go from here, from 4 to 1 to finish the reverse of the installation of the handles, and pretty straightforward. So let's actually just go ahead and start. Again, need to make sure to apply the lubricant, especially under, it looks like I have to apply it under the black area right over here, and probably some goes into the little mechanism inside, okay? So basically I'm just I'm just doing it all over, get the lubricant coated on every part of the little cartridge. And now let's give it a try. It's pretty lubricated, so we're gonna align the H and C on the top because that's how we put it out, okay? So, and it says do not rotate, so obviously you want to make sure it goes in very straight forward. And then once it goes in, it's gonna be able to use the pressure to control the system over there. Let's see. And voila, this actually concludes the installation. Super easy actually. I'm just gonna actually position it just a little bit so it sits very straight on the okay. So I just made sure it's aligned very straight into the entire hole. And the next step is actually the reverse of the installation. We're gonna get the handle and things installed, but again, very important to actually find the sealant to resurface the area and then apply the sealant properly, okay? So that is what I'm gonna do next. Let's see. All right, so we are actually cleaning the round area around the cover. I'm using a 91% alcohol and just some paper towel. Actually, I'm applying some alcohol on the paper towel and just gently rub the residue off from the old sealant. And once you see all those white parts off, we can put the new one on and then apply some new sealant, which I already have for other projects. It's basically just a silicone. I'm using the DAB Silicone Max. This is for kitchen and bath, so it should work pretty good here and last a long time, okay? A couple dollars at home accessory stores, Home Depot and Lowe's. As you can see, most of the white stuff is off now, so it's pretty clean. We are getting ready to put the cover back and then put everything back on in the reverse order. Okay, so, and of course there are some residues over here. I may have to go ahead and clean those really quick as well. Let's see. As you can see, the edge is nice and shiny, as well as nice and shiny on the surface. Next step, I'm just putting this cover back on there and kind of align everything again. And then I'm gonna put the screw back, the two long screws. So I'm just tightening everything, making sure it's aligned, facing straight up, and it's not moving. I'm definitely not over tightening everything. Like, I'm not over tightening stuff, just have them tight enough, okay? The reverse, of course, is install this metal piece first, put it in there. And next step is this little white plastic piece. Put it in here. At the very end is the little black piece. And this is what actually turns this little brass thing over here. So beautifully line up. And next is the very end. We're gonna actually put the handle back on here. Of course, there's one screw over here to tighten the black piece onto the little brass. Let me go grab the screw really quick. So once we have everything tightened back on here, we're gonna do a quick test. Okay, Let's actually just align this and put the screw back on here. And you know what, right off the bat, my thing actually super smooth. It glides like there's no resistance at all. I'm actually quite surprised how loose it is compared to the my broken one. Like this is like I can do this with super loose, super loose. I'm not even sure if it's working correctly, but let's find out very soon. Okay, so have everything installed. I'm going back outside to turn on the water main so I can check to see if this thing is fixed or not. Okay, I was testing a few times and I figured out I made a huge mistake when installing the cartridge, which was when I pushed this cartridge in. I pushed on this end, so I pushed this to have the cartridge in, and as you can see, if I push this, the back end sticks out, and that's a huge no-no. When you install the cartridge, make sure you don't touch this part. You only touch the plastic part, and make sure this is fully flush inside and flat with the rest of the plastic piece. Okay, otherwise it's gonna leak water like what I'm doing before. The water was gushing out. It's no good. Make sure this piece is flush. Make sure when you push it in, do not touch this part. Okay, do not touch the brass part. Only use the plastic part to push it in. Okay, and also make sure that this little notch right over here in the front is aligned to the HC on the top, and that way if you're looking here, it's in the closed position. Any other position, you're gonna expose the little hole and then it's gonna leak water. Okay, so make sure it's at the top aligned with HC and in the closed position. And this part is not pushed out. If you push the brass piece, that's no good. That just opens up the valve. Okay, make sure it's closed. Now we're gonna put it back in, align to the top, and then just gently push the plastic piece. Again, do not push the brass piece at all. Use the little included tool and just push it in here, like so. Okay, so don't ever touch the brass piece. That's the most important lesson that I learned after a couple of tries. Okay, so I was out testing the valve. It looks like I have fixed the problem. Again, that little notch that I told you about, for mine, the notch should be facing down. For the rest of the people, it might be facing up. So you have to try and error, try to test to see where that little notch is facing. For mine, it's facing down. Okay, so now I can safely just install everything, and because right now I have turned on the main valve and it's not leaking, so that is good. We're gonna conclude the installation by putting everything back on there once again. So couple important takeaway. Make sure we install it, don't touch the brass part. Make sure it's fully extended outwards. If you accidentally touch it and push it back in, make sure the back piece of the plastic piece is very flat. Second is make sure the notch is either facing upwards or downwards. For different people, the notch, depending on the installation, it might be facing a different place. Okay, I was confused because I had it at off position and water is running out, but supposedly I need to have mine downwards to have the water shut off. Okay, So that's two most important takeaway. All right, so we're almost done with the installation. Putting everything back on. Again, reverse step of what I did before. And at the very end, we just need to have the screw tightened in. As you can see, once you do this once, it becomes second nature to just quickly do it over and over again. Like so. Still, valve is open, so no water out. That means it's good to go. We're gonna put up the handle at the very, very end, and we're gonna call this installation complete. Again, the new cartridge compared to the old one, super smooth. It's like there's no resistance at all when I'm turning the faucet, compared to my old one where I have to use a lot of force and it's not turning at all. So take a look at the old cartridge right over here. This is the old one, pretty worn out, it looks like. It might still be reusable if you recondition it a little bit, but I wouldn't recommend it. You definitely want to have a brand new cartridge, okay? Very end, let's test. Super nice. Finally, I can wash my hands. Okay, now let's turn it off. Need to make sure it's not leaking or anything like that. Looks like so. Great. So I would say this job is complete. Actually a very simple process, and if you keep in mind of the two most important takeaways that I mentioned in the video, you should be fine replacing your own faucet cartridge. So let's recap something really quick. So the tools you need, probably one of those wrench, a Phillips screwdriver. Might be helpful to have a clamp wrench over here. The correct size hex wrench. You need some silicone tape to reseal the cover. And again, to recap the installation, this is the old cartridge which I took out. So to remove the old cartridge, you need to use the included tool from the new cartridge, put it over here, and then twist it 45 degrees with the little pin removed at the very beginning, okay? Once you have those out, put the new cartridge in, apply the lubricants on the rubber parts so it's much easier to push it back in there. And very important is to make sure the back end is not pushing out. The back end should be very flush with the white piece on the outside. You can push it out by accident by, if you install it, you use the brass to push it in, you might have opened the valve by accident. So make sure when you install the new cartridge, you also just use this cartridge installation piece and then just push it in with the white part. Don't ever touch the brass part at all, okay? Leave it be. Another thing is, notice the notch. The notch could be either facing up or facing down depending on the installation of your sink. For mine, it's actually facing down, but for some other people, it might be facing up, aligning with the HC, okay? So that's also something to take into notice. HC should be always facing up in normal situations. So that is the takeaway. If you guys have any questions or comments about the installation, feel free to ask me in the comment section down below, and hopefully you found this video helpful in helping you getting your Moen faucet replaced. If you did, please do hit the like button or subscribe, and I should have more of the how to fix videos coming out for you guys. Thanks again, and take care.